People like what testing? Oh, the presidential fitness test? Oh, math. I thought you said track testing, and I was like, what is track testing? All right, so on our worksheet here, we have some problems. Guys, I know that state testing is coming up, and some of you might have some anxiety around that. Please don't. It is just another data point. Now, we want you to do as well as you can, but it's just another data point in a very interesting story now that you had a pandemic kind of hiccup your school year. But if you're one of those people that care a little bit more about this and want to do some more prep, in our Math 7 page, now the top folder here says Review for the OST, which stands for Ohio State Test. Ooh, it's an acronym. We have too many acronyms. In here, you don't really need to see this. I can go ahead and publish it if you want. It's just a little confusing if you guys go read it. But that is information about the calculator. This is the reference sheet that will be available to you during the test. So you can go check that out. That they give you some conversions there. And then there's some links. And in here, the link that says scoring guide, that is what we're about to go over. So if you end up kind of not really getting, getting concerned by this or whatever you want to say, when you go home or AO or extensions, you can come here and actually all the right answers are notated in this scoring guide. You pretty much have to scroll 12 pages into the document to get to anything important. So seriously, if you look here, you have to go all the way to page 13 before it starts talking about these questions. And then things aren't actually numbered correctly. So that's why I just cut the numbers off on our worksheet. But these things on the worksheet are in this scoring guide. So the first problem that we're talking about, they actually call it question 2. But the things we're about to talk about are in this document right there. I see you. Give me just a second. The last thing here is the link to the main Ohio Department of Education site. So if you click on it again up here in the blue, right, then you can come and take the practice test like we're doing together, like you probably just did. Yeah, for language arts. Probably, yeah, maybe. Somebody respond, aside from just Sky, so I know Sky wasn't the only one. Okay, so that's everything in that main new folder, review for the OST here in Schoology. Nate. What? Okay, well, it's on my list of things to fix then. Guess I get to go home and get some tools. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Maybe you're twisted in the tables, actually. No? I think it's missing a bolt. You're right. I bet, based off the hardware I just bought from Mr. Cabilo, I can fix that pretty easily. So, guys, I really do not like stopping teaching just to talk about the state test. But I know it's one of those things that for some of you creates some anxiety, and it's just no matter whether it creates anxiety or not, it's something that we all have to do. So part of my job is not only to teach you math, but help you deal with any challenges that come in your way. So this is one of those things, right? So I get it. Excuse me, if you have the same attitude as me of oh, great, the state tests are coming up, la-di-da, means I'm going to take a test for an hour and then sit in a room and read a book for another hour, right? I get it. I sympathize with you. But I'm here to help you, right? If I haven't said that enough this year, that's just my mantra, which is kind of a thing that you say over and over again. Guys, my job is just to help you. So I want to help you be ready for this test. So let's talk about how we best approach these problems. I've got it in my Google Slides, but I also might do it on my worksheet with you guys. So when we look at which number is equivalent to 8/11ths, does anyone have a suggestion for how we can start thinking about either what the answer might be or what the answer might not be? Can anyone rule out one of these answers for us and tell me what we could write on our paper to rule something out, Isis? Why do we know it's not the 1.375? Yeah, this is a number bigger than 1, right? So it is definitely not the 1.375. So I'm going to go ahead and put an X through that of it is not that one. Guys, we're going to circle the correct answers on our worksheet. Can anyone else tell us a trap door? And guys, please write this with us. I'm not going to ask a ton out of you guys on these days where we kind of take a moment to make sure we're ready for these sorts of questions. But please do what I ask you to do. I'm not going to ask a ton. but please do it. Natalie? It does mean it keeps going. Do you remember what we put that over? So this means it's 0.777, like forever. The other way we could represent that with those 3 dots. So guys, if you want to write that out to remind yourself, oh yeah, that means it repeats 7. But that means we put 7 on top. Nate, do you remember what goes on bottom? Isis. It's not 10 because 10 would actually be just 0.7, right? It wouldn't repeat the 0.7. So guys, on the test, you're not just trying to get like the right answer to the question they're asking. Think about other things you know, right? 0.77 does not repeat, but 7 over 100 would be 0.07. Right? We know how we could write that as a decimal. Natalie? So, grab a calculator. If you don't have one at your desk, grab a calculator right now. One of the best things that we can do to prepare is just play with numbers. Now, this is the sort of question that you may not see on the calculator portion. You may not have a calculator to do this problem, but we do right now. So let's play with numbers and try to remember some things. Don't just type in 8 divided by 11. Sure, we could do that, but we don't want to just like jump to the answer, because what if we don't have a calculator on the test? But we're practicing 7 over something, right? We said 7 over 10 would just be 0.7. 7 over 11, well, that doesn't seem to work out. That does do something interesting, though. 636363. To make a number repeat itself, we put it over 9. And guys, remember, we do not trust the last number in the calculator when there's a bunch of numbers showing. We don't trust the last number. We did this way back in the fall when we were 100% remote. You guys weren't at school at all. So guys, being serious, some of you probably didn't learn this very well. Some of you probably learned it really briefly, got through the practice work, and now it's left your brain. That's why we're reviewing it. So up here, if we wanted to make 72 repeat, we would put 72 over what? If we want to make 72 repeat, we said to make the 7 repeat, we put it over 9. Sorry, my mouse is in the way. Would 72 just go over 9? Not just 90, right? Yeah! 72 over 99. So guys, if 2 digits repeat, there are 2 9s on bottom. Now wait a minute. 72 and 99 can both be divided by 9. This can actually be reduced and it becomes 8/11. Guys, B is actually our answer. Now, I could also check A and say, well, it's going to be 72 over 100, which can that become something over 11? That'd be really, really tough. And this does not work out to be 8 on top. So A does not work. 70. So guys, here's the other thing that you can remember. If it can't simplify, and guys, I've left this space over here to write this rule. If the fraction is simplified, so I'm going to start by saying simplified fractions, or you could say reduced if you want. Over 9 or over 11 repeat? Could have probably written that in all capital letters. Simplified fractions over 9 and over 11. So if it can be simplified, you got to simplify. But if it's already simplified and it's over 9 or over 11, it repeats. So if you see a problem like this on the test and it has a 9 or 11 on bottom, it's going to be one of the repeating answers. That's another thing that we can just put in our memory. Any other questions on that one? Because I want you to try the next one on your own, this circle problem right here to the side. Highlight what you think is important. Highlight what you think is important there. Do I have a volunteer to tell me what is worth highlighting over here, Mia? Yeah, area. Yeah, circle's probably important too. What else? Radius of 7. Now, guys, when we keep working on these practice tests, we're gonna go over how you can highlight things and use those screen tools. You can also write this down. You're gonna have scrap paper. So, guys, what I would write down here is A equals, because we know we're trying to find area, and R equals, and we actually know what the R equals. So I'm going to go ahead and write down R equals 7. What did we always say we should start with when talking about finding these circle calculations? Isaiah, you got a pencil, right? Okay, just double checking, because we're writing stuff down and I don't see your pencil in your hand. Nate, what do we know here about area? Radius squared times pi. Now, unfortunately, they don't give you that as part of the formula sheet. However, it might be there as part of the problem. They might have a little reminder thing. But either way, remember, area is where we square the radius, and that is multiplying it by itself. So if 7 is our radius, that squared, yeah, but that's not one of our answers. Yeah, so 7 times 7 times pi. So this is showing the radius squared times the pi. Now be careful, if they gave you diameter, you'd have to find the radius. Yep. Yeah, if they gave you the diameter, you'd have to start by doing that, dividing by 2 to find it. Read the next one on your own about Jerry's oranges. Once you get this work copied down. Any questions on this problem, by the way? Sorry, the circle problem before I move on. I need to read some water. My throat's already starting to hurt today. Read some water. Did anyone else hear me say that?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, but I was like,
So in my head, I was saying, they're reading the problem. But then my brain said, it's like when your brain tries to multitask. It doesn't work very well. Jerry grows 2 different types of oranges. He wants to know which type of orange weighs more. Now, guys, here's one thing that we're going to talk about again at the end of the week. We're going to do more of this, but I wanted to do a little bit of test prep now so it didn't feel all so heavy on those testing days. I need you to highlight the part of this that says random sample. And actually, we're going to highlight and underline random is the best attempt we have at being fair? How does he make it fair? Well, it comes from each type of tree. He doesn't just look at one tree. Sorry, I would highlight type of tree over here so you get each type of tree. Guys, who's been to like Lynn's Fruit Farm to pick apples? Or like any fruit farm place? Like, if you only go look at one tree, that might be the tree that got all the water. Or it might be the tree that got hit by the bugs, right? Like, it might be really, really good. It might be really, really bad. It might be one of the medium, like, average. But that wouldn't be fair if you only look at one tree in, like, a whole orchard. So you got to go take an orange off each different tree, right? Or a couple oranges off each different tree. So random is fair, right? That's when we talk about statistics. Random is fair. So take a moment. What do you think? I'm going to use random cards to make sure we're all awake this morning. What do you think about which type grows bigger oranges? Victor, what do you think? Yeah, why do you say that? Yeah, guys, one of the things we've been talking about and practicing in Khan Academy is clusters. There is a cluster of oranges right here in the 11 and 12 range. But to go ahead and like notate this somehow, we have a cluster versus our cluster down here is more concentrated at like 8, 9, 10. So this cluster for type B is higher up. Any questions on that one? Guys, I know this is kind of boring. I promise I will spice things up after we get through testing, and maybe even before then, but I just wanted to make sure we covered some of these types of problems. Go ahead and read that next one. And even though you cannot use a line connect tool here on your paper, that'd be cool if your paper all of a sudden turned to like a touch screen.
Are you cutting your nails?
Yes, because my one nail hurts. I have a hangnail. Yeah, dude, I keep nail trimmers at work because guess what? I spend most of my time awake here, except for the weekends, right? You guys know that, right? Like if you looked at your day, unless you wake up really early or stay up really late, you probably spend the majority of your day here.
I'd rather not think about that.
Well, I make you do a lot of things you would rather not do, right? So, hey, here we are again. If you were using a tool on the internet, right, which is funny because, guys, when I was a kid, like, everything was on paper and it all had to be, like, number 2 pencil and, like, very, very particular. And real people were going to grade my test. But you don't have real people grading your test, right? How could you make this problem easier? Using this connect line tool, we have to make 2 equal side lengths of a triangle. What would make this easier? Because, guys, you can add points wherever you want and then connect the line. So what sort of lines should I start with to make my life easier? Martin? Yeah, the 2 equal ones. Now, how am I going to draw those 2 equal ones? Am I just going to place 2 random points and, like, is there a nicer way to place points versus a not so nice way to place points? What could I do with the points in space since I'm working with a grid to make them easier? Take a second on your paper. Draw with your pencil what you think the first 2 points that we should drop on our paper. Please, with your pencil, so we can erase if we need. Guys, if I place points here and here, can someone easily tell me the distance between them? Oh, Nate's hand went down real fast. Nate, why'd your hand go down?
Because I get confused when I find the distance.
Yeah, why is this confusing? Or what could make it easier? Why can't I just count this? Because I'm going diagonally, right? I get what you mean. I love it. But I'm not always doing half squares. You're right here. Here I am doing half squares, like diagonally across. But that's actually longer than an entire square is the weird thing. I know it cuts my squares in half. Because diagonal is difficult. So start by making a straight distance. So here I would make yourself a little note to like, guys, all of these lines are straight. So why I'm putting straight in quotations is because what I mean by straight is straight with the grid, right? Straight with the grid lines. So if I start with this straight line, how long did I make it? Well, 4. I can count that now. So we would add point. Guys, notice I'm highlighting this color-coded. Then you use the connect line tool, and we're going to practice this together on the computer. And we connect line from point to point. You're going to take a practice math test. That's why I wanted to do some of this before you guys see that. Yeah.
You put the dots down first.
Yep. You got to put dots down first because I want you to think about it before you actually go to connect things. So then since I made that one 4, I just drop another point 4 away. But remember, I still want to go straight with the graph. And guys, if you want to make another note, one diagonal. This is just a note. One diagonal. Ooh, can't spell. D-I-A-G. Trying to do too much in my head. One diagonal is actually bigger than one unit. One diagonal is bigger than one unit. So when we draw this third side of the triangle, when we use the connect line tool for that, crap! The third side is shorter. Oh, man. Crap, I did the first 2 things, but I did this wrong. Crap. So if it said the third side wanted to be longer, fine, I did it. Great. But that's not what I meant to do. Crap, I did the wrong thing. Is there another way that I could make equal lengths, but use the diagonals to make my other opening small? Miriam? Yeah, remember when we talked about triangles? These are equal. If we could do this, that's great because they're both countable. But if not, what if I just open up this one like 1 or 2 and open up this one like 1 or 2? So, guys, let's still make sides of 4 to start. So hold on. Think this out with me. I'm going to bump this over. If I make, and sorry if you ran out of space, if I make this, just look right now. Please don't draw. Look, like I need your eyes up on the board. Please, 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 eyes on the board. If this is 4, but now I say, well, instead of coming 4 straight down, come 4 down and bump 1 over. This is more than 4. It's 4 point something because we know it's longer to go on the diagonals, right? We said the diagonals are longer. Doesn't matter what diagonal, it's always longer. So I can do the same thing on the other side, bump 1 out to the side, and then get rid of this. Are my 2 legs the same length? Yeah, because they both came down 4 over 1, down 4 over 1. You don't have to know how long these are. Because that's the thing I want to make sure you realize here. You don't have to be able to say how long these lines are. These sides are now equal length. Is the third side that I make now going to be shorter? Yeah. Because I made both of these bigger than 4, and I can count that this is just 2. Do you have questions? Otherwise, let's draw that. But what questions do you have about what I just did? I made it 4, but then I kicked it diagonal, which actually made it bigger. So this one didn't work out. It's statistics. And that's like another thing that we just haven't really talked about yet. So, you're kind of right. It's a specific branch of math. You don't really do math. You like observe stuff. Yeah. Statistics is like observation of numbers. Yeah. Absolutely. So if you ask a bunch of Trump supporters about Trump, do you think you're going to get an unbiased answer? No. If you ask a bunch of your best friends what they think of you, do you think you'll get an unbiased answer? No. So I was trying to vamp and spend some time while people are copying this down. When you look at the next one, it says there are 300 students in the 7th grade. Paul takes a random sample. Remember, we highlighted random sample earlier, so we should probably sample. To find out which fall sports the students in 7th grade prefer. So here's our question. Which fall sports do students in the 7th grade prefer? I'm actually going to highlight that pink since it's already kind of highlighted pink. To find out which fall sports the students in 7th grade prefer. Think to yourself, what would make this fair? What would make this valid? Now, actually, guys, there are different ways to take a random sample. So you're going to probably roll your eyes at me, but we need our random to be random. You can't take a random sample of just this class. Right, guys, if I wanted to survey and say, do we want pizza or ice cream for the last day of school? This is not a real question. I think we're doing food trucks, by the way. Yeah, guys, you came to Phoenix. We're awesome. So, but, like, could I just ask a random 5 of you? No. Could I just ask a random 5 of 7th graders? Not if I was asking for the whole school's opinion, but Paul only wants the 7th grade. So guys, I would highlight over here, I would like make a note that he's looking at 7th grade only. So this is not like a school-wide thing. So which of Paul's choices for groups to talk to? Well, if he can only pick 10 people, are 10 of his closest friends going to be a fair sample? No. 10 students from each grade. Yeah, why? Who can tell me, like, raise your hand, Sky? Oh, yeah, there are people I don't care about there. Well, no offense to them, but 10 students from each 7th grade homeroom. Okay, well, let's compare that. You're right. But let's compare that. 10 students of the 7th grade. Okay, still 7th grade. Basketball. Well, that's kind of specific. So, guys, the specificness is what you have to check. Is it just basketball team? No. What, like, do you think the basketball team is going to give us a fair opinion of what sport they, like? No, they're going to have a bias. Now, technically, basketball is not a fall sport, so that's the only argument that you could make.
Basketball is a summer sport, right?
It's supposed to be a winter sport for school. Your winter sports are like basketball, swimming, and wrestling. And sometimes volleyball. Sometimes volleyball's every season. Fall, isn't it? And then outside does spring. Like if you can do outside volleyball. Flip to the back. I could talk about volleyball for a while. I enjoy volleyball. Guys, I want you to look at this top problem just on your own for a second. But the thing I'm going to tell you we are going to highlight is in terms of X. I'm just going to highlight stuff up here, but I want you to think about it for a minute on your own. I'm actually going to give you probably a couple minutes because I feel like I've been doing too much talking. Then I would love to have a volunteer who wants to explain what I've drawn and how we're going to write this. Miriam? Give me colors and I'll help you with the vocab, but give me some colors. Okay.
And the line thingy, the red line for X is like the other side that's needed for the equation. So we know that that one line and the side that has X and the problem we're solving for is 180.
So this, if you did not immediately, or maybe not immediately, but if you did not at some point think to yourself, a straight line is 180 degrees, that is definitely going to be important. Now, I'm not done. I'm just starting, right? So go ahead and write this down. So we're part of 180 degrees, but is DCE going to be more or less? Less. So I'm going to have to take away. Miriam, you want to keep going? Yeah, we subtract X degrees. Now here's the thing. They ask us for an expression, meaning we're only going to write 180 minus X. This would be our expression. If they asked for an equation, hey guys, if I tell you that in 10 minutes when class is over, I'm collecting this, Who's going to like poop your pants because you're not writing this stuff down? Write down what I'm writing down.
We have to write what's on the.
Dude, pretty much if it's on my paper, it should be on yours. I'm concerned that I don't see any highlighters on your desk because that was on the list of what to get out today. And I have multiple times asked you to highlight things on this paper. Great, that's still one more than what you had before, right? 1 is better than 0. Look at the next problem on your own. Grocery store math is so tough.
It's actually a reasonable problem, and not like Jonathan bought 72 watermelons.
Actually, what's funny is my name is in our problem that we use tomorrow. And it's from the state test, but they used my name in the state test. It made me feel weird. And it's about me having a garden. And I have a garden. Micah, thank you very much. If you're going to use my name, pronounce it right.
Wait, what did you say?
Mika, which more sounds like a Pokemon. It's like, Mikachu! It's like, no, I wish I had some superpowers and could charge myself up. All right, now, Natalie, you kind of volunteered yourself by saying this is like a reasonable problem, right? Because it's like a reasonable amount of things. So if we start by highlighting, I got 12 red apples cost $10.80. They're red, so I'm going to highlight it in red. Or not really highlight, but 6 green apples cost $6.90. And then it asks us, what's true? And it starts throwing a bunch of like the cost per, the cost per, the cost per, the cost per, 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 per. Free for free, free, free. Free for free, free. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's a terrible commercial. If you don't watch cable TV, you're lucky. Like, I wish I didn't. But I like to put on the news and different stuff and just like have it on while I cook and things. Well, yeah, hopefully you're not like watching the internet to watch commercials. But per, what does per tell us to do? Divide. Cost per apple is going to tell us to do dollars divided by number of apples. Cost per apple is dollars divided by number. So do it. You would probably have a calculator, but if you don't, you could set it up like as a fraction. So for my red apples, $10.80 over 12. If I didn't have a calculator, I could at least cut them both in half. Right? So I'm trying to get the focus to come back. If I didn't have a calculator, I could at least cut both of these in half probably. We have 540. I almost goofed that up. I think I could cut these in half again. $2.50 and another 20 cents. $2.70. Ooh, if I think of this like 27, I think I can divide that by 3. What's 27 divided by 3? 9. So really this is 90 cents. All right, so I finally worked my way back to 1 red apple. So now I need to do that for green. Guys, 690 is tough. That's a like 6.9. That's a tough, complicated thing. But 69 is divisible by 3, divisible by 6, divisible by... That might be it. But it's at least divisible by 3 and 6. So, wait, no. It's not actually divisible by 6. It almost is. But it's divisible by 3. So I could at least divide by 3. Yeah, I can do 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 90 divided by 3 is 30. So guys, you need to make this note here. We did division by 3. That was a little awkward. We did the same thing on top. And guys, now I can cut this in half, right? Even without a calculator. Guys, just do what you can do. You don't have to jump right to the final answer. Just do what you can do. Can I cut $2 in half? Yes. Can I cut 30 cents in half? Yes. If we trust the math that we've done, I think we mentally, well, not really mentally, like on paper, physically, I guess, figured out the price for each green, each orange. But now we have, guys, there are always trap doors. Beware the trap doors. Which cost is less, green or red? Red is less, so green apple is, okay. Green apple's greater, green apple's less, green apple. I can throw out A and B, because A and B say the green apple's less. A and B tell us the green apple's less. So throw those out. Tomorrow we will start by finishing this one, doing the graph problem, and then I will have a few more things like this. And like we'll keep this kind of doing a random pattern of questions. Guys, what's nice is no new con, right? Nothing new coming at you. Everything that's assigned is everything you owe me. There is actually, and this is why I've been kind of delaying of doing any other con update, there's a new con brain progress tracker thing that just went live today. So we will be checking con progress and doing prizes on Friday. I guarantee I'll have your Kit Kats by then. Because I got to go get other candy. Now, really, you might appreciate that I've waited this long, because getting a bag of Kit Kats on a day when you're taking like a state test, that might feel really good. Huh? You're fasting. Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, you can take them home.
Yeah, and I can eat them after 8.
Yeah. Is that when sunset officially is for you guys?
Well,